Hey friend, welcome back to the homestead. Here at North Star Off-Grid, we're struggling with storage space. This week, we aim to change that with built-in shelves on a whole wall of the cabin. I'll admit, this should have been done sooner. This project is 4 seasons in the making. We purchased rough sawn boards last fall, built some pantry shelves with them in the winter, walked past them all spring, and now that it's midsummer, I'm finally getting around to starting this project. If you're interested in learning how I built these shelves, follow along.
Oh yeah!
Siggy's the foreman on duty. He can really break my back sometimes. My plan for this build is to make separate boxes for each side of the doorway, then finish them off with a top and middle shelf at the end. I started out by removing any nails on the wall so that they don't interfere when we move it into place. We have gas lights throughout the cabin. We don't use them as they produce carbon monoxide, and we've had alarms go off numerous times. Normally, we use LED lights around the cabin that we can recharge. My plan is to remove the glass globes for now, but in the future, we'll probably remove the lights and propane lines too. It's more than I want to tackle right now, so we'll work around them for the time being. These mantles are extra fragile, so you gotta be really careful because you'll poke a hole in them or break them. Let's check out the boards we're working with. I bought these red pine boards from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Every board was a different dimension, lengths, widths, and even thicknesses. 12. They're all over the place. I decided to trim them down to an even 11.5 inches, leaving one rough sawn face for the visible side of the shelves. I went about selecting the boards for the uprights and the shelves, as there were many cupped and warped boards. There was also sap oozing from numerous knots. So I'm going to do my best to get the ones that are not leaking sap everywhere. Some also had mold and mildew from sitting, which I treated with a vinegar solution. And the generator wouldn't start. We've had issues off and on for a while. Definitely not ideal, as I was hoping to be further along in this project at this point. See if we can't get it started tonight. If not, maybe we can work on it tomorrow. Luckily, giving it time seemed to do the trick. I did my best to lay out shelf boards, removing knots that could sap when I was able. I cut the shelves at 48 inches each to make the perfect fit for each side of the door. The uprights were 103 inches to meet just below the gable's bottom plate. There we go, my cut list is complete. 4 uprights and 8 shelves for each side. Some of the boards, as mentioned, were cupped and warped, but for simple cabin shelves, we'll make it work. At this point, I cleaned up and called it a day, as it was getting pretty late. It was another week before we were able to work on the shelves again. I did my best to clean off some of the sawdust before bringing the boards inside. The rough sawn finish is pretty good at holding onto it.
Good job.
We did some work to figure out the shelf spacing with the propane lights. Removing them would have made the spacing uniform throughout, but as you'll see as we get further along, we made a single shelf smaller than the rest.
Well, you could move the bottom one up to 62 and go up to 74.
Once we decided on the shelf spacing and had a little love from our foster dog Cooper, I cut a couple of spacer boards into toe kick for the bottom of the shelf. I started each shelf by installing the toe kick first. I used corner clamps to attach them in place to the uprights and used brad nails to shoot them into place. I then installed the bottom shelf. I drilled a pilot hole using a countersink bit and installed the screws. I used 3 screws evenly spaced along the shelf.
We're just building.
We did our best to level each shelf with the square.
Is it feeling all good?
Yeah, there's nowhere for it to move that direction.
Not the easiest task when boards were warped and the face was rough sawn, but we did our best. We put in spacers on each side to line up the next shelf in its desired location. I measured each screw hole to try and keep them in line. From there, it was moving the spacer up to finish off each remaining shelf until we got to the light location. At this point, we moved it into position, trying to get a grasp for the spacing on the final shelf. Like a glove.
So you could just have one here, and then this is just a big shelf, and we could have like a lamp. Or what if you cut this at the level of the shelf?
We debated about it for quite a while. So I've been going back and forth if I make the same size shelf up above this light, make a shorter shelf, probably around 8 or 9 inches, and then do a top shelf from the top down that runs all the way across the window. That's the exact same size as this one, which is like a 13 3/4 inch opening. I think I like that best, where I can basically use the jig that I made and put it up from the very top down, and then that'll give me the shelf spot that I need, and then we could just finish this shelf off in between, and then we'll have both sides of it be the exact same. Cooper was on duty today. He definitely likes to keep everything in line, just like the little cattle dog he is.
Here's a little cultivar. A little cultivar. Okay.
For the top, I flipped the jig to the ends and clamped it in place.
Sturdy.
Moving on to the right side box now, we followed the same process with some minor tweaks. Because some of the shelves had different thicknesses, we needed to adjust the jig to make sure each shelf would line up.
Pretty square.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Looks good.
You can see Coop wants to herd the drill into place.
Okay, Goops. Good job, Goops. No, leave it.
See where it lines up.
This was one of those spots that we had to adjust the jig. The thickness of the shelf made it off by 1/4 inch.
Where did the mark go? Oh, you clamp this on the mark. I got you. That works too.
The balls here. Here. Crap.
Then it was time to move the shelf into place.
Okay, remember we're gonna have to slide it up so it's not
Yeah.
hitting there.
We took the opportunity to rearrange the living space again. We used to have the futon in this location when we first moved in. It stuck out way too much in front of the shelf, so we moved it back. The dining table moving over is new. It does feel nice to have it here because it opens up the space a lot. As we finished rearranging, it started to rain. We're just getting back to working on the shelves. It has poured rain basically the last week. And I don't know if you can tell from the haze, but the Canadian wildfire smoke is just smoking us out. It just smells like a bonfire outside. I started out measuring for the lower shelf that fit between the uprights. I have this super cool live edge piece that I got. You can see that it's a red pine. I was kind of thinking this could be the middle shelf, angled with that hanging down, so that you kind of get that look when you're looking up at the doorway. Due to the waviness, I needed to improvise to cut square edges on the middle shelf. I set up a track and used my circular saw. I purchased these black shelf brackets off Amazon for the middle shelf. I figured this would be the strongest option. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but everything is just red from the fire. The AQI was over 200. We had the most unhealthy air in the United States this week. I marked where each shelf lined up on the wall. I used a level to make marks where I should install the brackets. I ended up using 3 brackets. They have a decent weight rating, so I thought it would be perfect. I double checked with the laser level to be safe. I felt pretty good about how the measurements all lined up. The brackets came with magnetic level, so before screwing them down, I adjusted each one. After pushing the shelves back into location, I measured the distance across the cabin to each end. It was tricky, but we made it work.
Because that tape measure.
Because what?
The tape measure just always breaks right before.
I ended up finding a 16-foot board locally to finish off the single shelf on the very top, spanning across the whole cabin. I originally was planning to piece a couple boards together for this, so I was very excited to find this long board to cap it all off. I made the decision to cut off the knot on this side, and I measured the length that I needed from there. Due to its length, we had to bring the board around the back and up over the deck to get it to fit in the cabin. As I was pulling this up, I was thinking in my head, "Argh, Matey, it's time to walk the plank." We realized after getting the board in that it was the opposite the way we needed.
So I'm going to put this side up, probably move this end over here,
Okay.
set this end down, and then I think it's probably best to put that end up first.
Luckily, we have a tall ceiling and we turned it around.
Whoa. It's a tall ceiling we got there.
Alright, so this is gonna go.
What?
You can go back up a little bit. 'Cause that's not a good spot to probably put it. So my thought was kind of having to do it.
Stepwise?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not far forward. You got it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're probably gonna have to step.
Do you want me to step over here?
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah.
Oh, it looks nice though. Wow, babe. It really finishes it off.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, luckily we have a tall ceiling, else that would be out there.
From there, I drilled screws through the shelf into each upright. In the corners, I needed a 90-degree bit to fit the drill in place. I finished off the middle shelf with screws through the bracket to hold it in place. And we have finished shelves! Now to fill them up with all of our stuff. Leave us a comment below with what you'd store on these. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a great week and we'll see you on the next one.
What do you think, Coop? Are you cute?